Natalia Karbowska of the Ukrainian Women's Fund is here joining us tonight to talk about this new order that was just issued very recently by the Ministry of Defence.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. It's a big achievement. We think it's a big achievement, and it took us. Actually, I wanted to tell how everything started. It started in December last year, when women activists presented the project called Invisible Battalion, and the idea was it was initiated by Maria Berlinska, by Tamara Marcenyuk, other sociologists, and later supported by UN Women in Ukraine. So the idea was to study how women feel in the Ukrainian army, how many of them are there, what positions they occupy. And we found out that there are many women in the army, and they are doing real work there, but officially they are registered as cooks, as receptionists.
And so what does that mean for them? Do they get paid less? Are they deprived of certain benefits? Or? Well,
first of all, yes, they get paid less. Then if something happens, then of course they will not get any social security because, officially she was somewhere in the kitchen, how she could get injured or something. So realistically, women were in a very bad position in the army. So we started the project, we started talking to the Ministry of Defence, Ministry of Informational Policy. We created the Invisible Battalion strategy, and this helped us to get heard at the Ministry of Defence, and as a result, I think there is this order. But the order, I think this is just the beginning. The fight is not won yet, because the order is only about lower-level military personnel, which means that women officers, still we don't know what's happening there. We don't know. I'm sure there are other orders which are about the positions that women officers can occupy, but they have a secret code at the Ministry of Defence, so we don't know which positions women officers can occupy, actually.
So far, we know that there were females fighting currently in the Eastern Front line, but still in this document there are currently 85 professions. And how special is that with this, because some of them, they are still commanders. That's something new. Mm-hmm. Can you elaborate more on that?
Yes, well, definitely there is some of these positions. Well, if you compare the old order and the new one, clearly there is a huge difference. Women now can be, well, that's a funny story. According to the old order, women were not able to be drivers. Women were not able to be even interpreters. Well, I'm not even talking about commanders. So now definitely there is a change, and they can occupy these positions, but also I think it's important to think about the next steps, whether women have proper access to education in the military of Ukraine to be promoted to these positions. And this is something that we should take into account and work more, I think.
And I mean, currently, though, how many officers are there? We have a statistic, female officers in the Ukrainian Army. I think we have a statistic here saying it's around 2,000.
2,000, yes.
That's true.
Yes.
And I mean, how far do you think that could grow?
But I should really say that the significant change really happened because of unfortunate situation, because of war. So we would like you really to show you the piece, how happened that so many female are really joining the army. There are two girls from Luhansk. I personally met them way before the war. It was still in April 2014. They were, helping with the food. And then later we found them fighting in the front line as volunteers. So please watch this video.
Луганский Майдан – явление совершенно естественное. Это даже не способ выразить свою позицию по отношению к Евросоюзу, либо внешнеэкономическое, так сказать. Это просто способ был сохранить Украину в Луганске, скорее так.
Зимой это все еще было на волне именно Евромайдана, скорее вот именно это вот киевское движение, оно как бы перетекало плавно в отголоски, скажем так, его были в Луганске.
Поддержка Луганска,
да.
Киева.
А уже ближе к весне это у нас, можно сказать, было совершенно другое какое-то движение, оно действительно было уже именно за сохранение целостности Украины. То есть Пришли люди, которые даже первоначально не поддерживали Майдан, я знаю. Они уже вот вышли именно за Украину. И все это плавно трансформировалось именно в борьбу за то, чтобы остаться хотя бы тем, кем мы были до этого. Не то, что там изменить что-то. Хотя это, конечно, все же была надежда, но уже хотелось хотя бы просто остаться в составе Украины. Пробовали себя в волонтерской деятельности, поняли, что это не совсем наше, хотелось каких-то более активных действий.
Ближе к дому.
Да, ближе в Луганск, все мечтали скорее вернуться.
Вы хотели попасть на фронт?
Да.
Да,
Прямо
прямо
в окопы?
Прямо туда, первыми войти в Луганск.
Ну, на данный момент у нас есть блокпосты, которые находятся непосредственно уже на границе, так сказать, в буферной зоне. Например, как пост Карбонит, Боровское. То есть конкретно от поста Карбонит 5 километров до Первомайска, до оккупированной территории постоянные обстрелы происходят до затишья. И также разведывательные диверсионные группы действуют непосредственно возле постов наших. Ну,
Ты только что вернулась из Карбонита.
ну да, пару
Где
дней
ты
назад.
стояла на этом самом блокпосту,
Точно,
так?
да.
Сколько ты там провела времени?
До ротации месяц и после 2 месяца. Без перерывов и выходных.
Если уже зайдем в Луганск, все, ну как бы будет подконтрольной украинской власти, то я переключусь обратно на информационную деятельность. Все-таки это очень нужно, потому что мозги промыты у людей, и тут работы непочатый край. Когда еще уезжали, вот эта вот волна началась, когда все наши активисты стали уезжать из Луганска, многие сразу сказали, что они не вернутся в Луганск. Мне бы хотелось, чтобы... Я верю, что все-таки Луганск станет обратно украинским, и что все-таки люди вернутся, потому что они должны понимать, что вот эти активисты, которые тогда столько работали для того, чтобы переубедить население, они вернутся и продолжат эту работу. Возможно, это будет уже гораздо более плодородная почва. И Луганску нужны эти люди, потому что война только начнется, действительно, именно за умы этих людей. Так что я жду вас всех в Луганске.
Возвращайтесь.
And Natalia, we ourselves, when we travel to the front line, when we talk to the female fighters, and both male, you know, there are very different attitudes. Some people treat female in the front line very seriously, some still thinking about them like somebody who's to take care. So really it's very different. But how is it for you, while lobbying for all this law, to talk to these senior officials in the Ministry of Defence? You know, they've written this, but how serious are they about, you know, giving the real equal treatment to the females and officers as somebody who can run the command position?
Oh, I hope they are serious. And if they are not, there are people who will keep watching on them, and people and organizations who will keep watching on them. And well, I can tell from my experience, and even from my personal experience, because I am a wife of a military. My husband is a colonel, so I thought I know how to talk to the people in the military uniform. But I remember my first meetings with them, and they were hard. They were very, very challenging. I think in individual meetings, well, they all understand the importance of equality in any sector, including security and defense sector. But there are still strong stereotypes in Ukrainian Army, gender stereotypes. And with just one order, we cannot really fight them. That's why we do think that there should be systematic approach. There should be certain structures in the ministry, formal and informal, in the Ministry of Defence, that will be taking care of gender equality in security and defense sector. The good news, the optimistic news, is that there are such instruments in the Ministry of Defence. One of them is that they recently established a position of gender advisor to the minister. We are hoping, this is a new position, and there is a new person who is a military, who is from the system. She's working on this position. And we hope that this new development will give the result. And also another news is that there is a gender working group established in the ministry, and civil society activists were invited recently to join the group. So I also hope the work of that this will give positive results, and this will promote sustainability for gender equality work in security and defense sector.
Well, Natalia, thanks for joining us tonight and taking time to talk.